Hey there, welcome to another spoiler primer pre-release video. So the last two that I did for this, for the last two sets have been pretty, interesting, ranging from good for people to bad for people. But yeah, here we are, a couple days before pre-release, hopefully, and people are looking at this set and going like, what do I do? Who knows? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and kind of walk you through some cool stuff that, what to look out for, what to think about going into pre-release, and what is pre-release. A little, I'm not going to get too much into that because we've done that, a couple different times. I think people have, hopefully if you're going to your first pre-release, you'll do a little other research. This is going to be mainly about some of the cards to look out for and what you're gonna run into at your pre-release. So I'm gonna start in a different kind of setting, like a different thing than previous videos. I'm actually gonna start with the removal of the set because I think that's something people, like they come to the video and they would just want to see that. And so without further ado, let's look at what some of the removal in this set and what you're gonna want to watch out for when you're playing versus somebody and you're playing the set. Okay, let's gonna go through here. All right, so our first interesting removal is really good. Wait, no, it's just okay. It's it's not even removal. It's combat tricks. That's what we're looking out for. So the first one is Flourished Hope. It's a 1-drop quick cast light chant. Target J Resonator gains this card cannot be destroyed until end of turn. Then remove this card inverted from the game. So what I like about this is that, if you're thinking about trading with a Resonator or you think you're going to trade, you can drop this out and win a trade, which if you're facing someone else and they're making a wonky attack, it might be because they have this card. So keep an eye on that. If you're making an attack and someone's blocking with that, same thing. But so that inverts and turns into Burgeoning Despair. Quick cast plays card only from your removed area. Target player banishes 2 Resonators. Now this one is obviously like really good because you just lose 2 Resonators. Super good. So these are honestly, I'm gonna go through like what I think are some really good cards, some bombs, what you should play if you end up getting it. This is a good flip side in cards to play. Yeah, I really like that one. Next we have Jewel Aura. You know what? That's actually not a quick cast, so you can't really do a combat trick with that. Never mind. Next we have I guess Jewel Step is kind of a combat trick. No, Jewel Step returns your stuff, so yeah, I mean it's kind of, I'm not gonna classify it as a combat trick. It doesn't feel right. We have Karmic Retribution. Now it's a 1-drop light. Choose one, destroy target Resonator with no ability, or destroy target non-magic stone entity you control, then draw a card. So the interesting thing about this card is that I don't think it hits almost anything in the entire set because everything has an ability. Everything has an automatic, everything has swiftness, or just there's almost 0 vanillas in this set. So that being said, this doesn't really work as a combat trick unless you cast it with Separation of Fates, which makes something lose all of its abilities. So probably not really watch out for that. This card. Next we have Miscalculation. Now this is a brutal one. It's basically one drop light chant, destroy target attacking Resonator. Like this is high quality, super good removal, and I mean it's a beast. It's a nasty one to watch out for. Not a lot you can do for it. It's really good. So be careful if you're attacking into, I don't know, 1 will up, but I mean, what are you gonna do? Sometimes you just get blown out like that. So next we have Sacred Knight of Atonement. He's a 9/9 quick cast Resonator, so which means you can block. You can drop him to block. When this card enters the field, prevent all damage that will be dealt to this card until end of turn. So, you know, it's a combat trick. You drop him, you block something, and you kill it. You can invert him. I'm not really going to get into that because I don't think that has anything to do with combat tricks, so we're going to skip it. Separation of Fates. Quick cast, target J Resonator loses all abilities until end of turn. Draw a card. Now this is just a pretty decent card. You can make stuff lose swiftness. You can make it lose first strike. You can make it lose some kind of combat ability trick. So, you know, this, and obviously this combo is really good with Karmic Retribution. So, you know, those two together are definitely like a 2-cost really good removal. Yeah. Next, we have Ferocious Attack. Ferocious Attack is a pretty good one. Quick cast. As an additional cost to play this card, remove X strength counters from your J Ruler. Look at the top X cards of your deck. You may reveal a Resonator from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in a random order. If the revealed card is a beast, this card deals damage equal to its attack to target J Resonator. Now this is a really wonky and really trippy one because it's probably not going to end up mattering. But technically it can kill something that you're trying to attack with or, you know, trip you up. So, Next we have Fictitious Fire. Quick cast. This card deals 600 damage to target player or J Resonator. Now this is just a pretty solid card. The null ability is this card deals 800 damage instead. And if, for those who don't know or haven't really been following the set, null means as you play this card, if you have no other cards in your hand, it gains the following text. So it changes the ability based on whether or not you have any cards in your hand. That being said, though, let's look at Heaven Sundering Dragon Palm. This is a good one. So it's a 1-drop, red. Quick, choose one. If this card is awakened, you may choose up to 3 instead. Just choosing one is fine, honestly. But the awakening is really good too. So you can destroy target dragon. This card deals 500 damage to target Resonator, or this card deals 400 damage to your opponent. Now, obviously, the lightning bolt effect is what we're looking out for right now. But, yeah, no, this is just super good. This is definitely a good removal to play if you have it. But next we have Scarlet's Vision. Where are you at? There you are. Scarlet's Vision. Target attacking J Resonator you control gains +4/+0 until end of turn. Then it deals damage equal to its attack to the J Resonator with the highest attack among J Resonators your opponent controls. So basically you attack in with a card, you buff it with Scarlet's Vision, and that card deals damage to the highest, to the card with the highest attack that your opponent controls. You know, pretty good. Its null ability is absolutely amazing. It deals damage equal to its attack to each J Resonator your opponent controls instead, making it a 3-cost board wipe, basically, which is, you know, possible board wipe if you're attacking with a high damage Resonator. It's a really good card, and definitely want to watch out for that one. Next we have Beady Beady Ball. This is a pretty interesting one. 1-drop blue. Rest target Resonator. If the weather is Thunderstorm, this card deals damage to that Resonator equal to its attack. So the resting is pretty good. Thunderstorm is going to be really wonky, I think, to play with in this set. You need to draft some interesting cards or not draft, but pull, like, have interesting Thunderstorm cards in your pool in order to play your Thunderstorm cards that you get. And, you know, because the J Ruler isn't, you're not going to be able to play Shayla unless you pull her. So you're going to have to rely on other ways to get Thunderstorm. And there's only a handful of ways to get Thunderstorm in this set. So it's iffy. But that being said, we've got Lightning. No, that's Thunderwave. Oh my. Thunderwave. Oh, geez, that was wild. So it's a return target non-Magic Stone, non-J Ruler entity to its owner's hand. Draw 2 cards if the weather is Thunderstorm. So obviously if it's Thunderstorm, you get better stuff, but it's basically a 2-cost bounce spell, and that's perfectly fine. That's pretty good. I would watch out for that one. That's not bad at all. And then we have Thunderstorm. It's 5 mana, quick cast chant. Return all resonators to their owner's hands. If the weather is thunderstorm, their owners put them on the bottom of their decks in any order instead. Now, even without thunderstorm, this is just really, really solid. This is like a game-winning swing if you if you just clear the board of any blockers they could have, and then swing in with it. Or if you're attacking with a bunch of stuff, they can just reset your board. Very, very strong. Definitely, I would watch out for getting blown out by that one, because that's gonna be pretty rough. I think it's Lowright's Wind. That's what it is. I mean, you can also throw in Lowright's Deletion Magic under these. These are basically just cancels. Lowright's Deletion Magic is X cost and a green. Quick cast, cancel target spell unless your opponent pays X. So watch out for tapping all your stones down if you're going to play something big. This is an easy 2-drop cancel, like 2-drop Wall of Wind pretty much. And if they have a lot more stones up, then it becomes a decently maybe like a 3 cost. You have to pay 2 to not have your card canceled. So Lowright's Wind is another good one. Cancel target chant spell targeting you or a J resident you control. Watch out for this if you're trying to burn one of their guys. That's a pretty decent one. Scarlet's Agony is another one good. Remove target attacking J resonator from battle. Draw a card. So this one basically like blanks out one of your enemy's attackers. That's just pretty decent. We have a really wonky one, the Puppet's Last Days. Quick cast, as an additional cost to play this card, banish a doll and you destroy target resonators. So, if they're making a doll deck, you can definitely kind of, look at this and go, are they playing the Puppet's Last Days? Maybe, because they're playing a doll deck. And that's pretty decent removal. I mean, banishing a doll is kind of crappy, but you kind of like 2 for 1 yourself. So that's a little disappointing, but just watch out, Disaster, where are you at? Disaster at Sasuru Palace. This one's interesting. It's a 3-drop, black, destroy target light resonator, your opponent banishes a gem. Usually you're not going to see this unless they might sideboard this if they draw it and they're going black. They might sideboard this, and if they are facing a white deck. But the next one is a lot better. Embrace of Darkness. It's a 2 black quick cast, destroy target resonator with total cost 3 or less. This one's gonna be pretty popular, gonna be played a lot. If they're holding up 2 black, this is probably a good sign they're gonna want to play this. Again, not a ton you can do about it if they just want to kill something, but watch out if you're trying to block something. Just be aware of it. That's a good one though. We have Final Words. This one is interesting. It's super high cost, 5 mana, destroy target J/resonator. The great thing about this is that it does target J rulers, so watch out for J activating too early, or if you're not sure about what kind of deck they're playing. I think this is one of the only J ruler removals that that we have in this set. Next we have Soul Concentration. This is like the de facto definition of a combat trick. Put 2 +1/+1 counters on target J resonator you control. So if you're trying to trade, this just gives them +2/+2 and they live and they kill you. So that's a rough one. That one's probably gonna be played a decent amount, I think. Null Darkness is super good. Obviously, quick cast, destroy target resonator, and if you have null, you can destroy up to 1 target J ruler. This is actually the other J ruler destruction we have in the set, and this one is probably gonna be more played. I mean, obviously the card itself is gonna be more played, but you don't really have to watch out for the destroy target J ruler too much. And finally, we have Twin Blades of Hope and Despair. This is probably the best combat trick in the set right now. It's a white-black. Target resonator you control gains +6/+6. and target resonator your opponent controls gains -6/-6 until end of turn, and then remove this card inverted from the game. So this is probably easily the nastiest combat trick you're gonna see. It's a 12-point swing, so if you can block a lot of, like, if anything is like 11 attack or defense higher than your guy, then this is gonna get you there, and that's a really, really nasty one. I'll definitely watch out for that one. Twin Blades is super good, really good combat trick. But those are pretty much some of this quick cast stuff to watch out for. Some stuff people can do if they're holding up different kinds of mana. Twin Blade mana is pretty obvious. Null Darkness is pretty obvious. There's just a couple different things you can expect if you're facing a black deck. Okay, well, they can have a Disastrous Saucer Palace, Embrace the Darkness, and Final Words, and Soul Concentration. So just watch a while. Think about that when you're coming into these. Give me a second. So now we're gonna get into things that I think are good to draft, or to pick in your sealed pool. Obviously, I can't tell you guys how to deck build. The most important parts of deck building in a limited format like this is pick bombs, if you have them. Get a good curve going, because a good curve will let you beat a deck with a bad curve some of the time. If the deck with a bad curve just has good cards, then you're gonna have to play better and just get maybe a little lucky. But a good curve lets you do things that your opponent isn't doing. If they miss their 1-drop and you get your 1-drop, that's great. If they miss their 2-drop and you get your 2-drop, all of a sudden you're in a really strong position, and you can try and carry that to the end of the game. So if I had any advice for deck building, it's to have a good curve and be able to play stuff on curve. That'll let you win a lot of games. But let's take a look at cards I think are really good. First up, we got Angel of Hope. She's a 2/3 flying drain. Whenever you do Judgment of a Ruler, invert this card. Whenever you gain life, put a 1/1 counter on this card. Now, I think this is deceptively good. It gets in early. It gives you a really good life buffer, and more importantly, it gets bigger and bigger really fast. And this can really spiral out of control if your opponent doesn't do anything to stop it. Angel of Despair, it flips into Angel of Despair. This card is obviously good. It keeps its counters, which is great. It's still flying. It kills something if you have plus and plus counters. That's just solid. But obviously, I like the front card more because it just keeps getting bigger and bigger each time you do damage because you have Drain. So really, really good combo. We're gonna look at Gemhammer Panda. So he's a 3-cost 8/8. I think anything that's 3-cost and is 8/8 is a decent threat in limited. There's only a handful of other 8/8s that can trade with it. So if you drop this turn 3 and then attack, there's like a lot of stuff just can't kill it. It's just bigger than the other 3-cost cards. So with its ability, it's good too. When this card enters the field, gain 2 gems of any one attribute. And this card gains +4/+4 as long as you control 10 or more gems. I doubt you're ever going to do that, so that doesn't really matter. But the important part is the 8/8 3-cost. That's something you want to look out for when you're drafting too. Like, those are cards that your opponent cannot trade with their regular resonators, and you will out trade them with an 8/8. Most of this stuff. So yeah, we have Light Castle, Dark Castle. It's a 2-drop. Whenever you do Judgment of Ruler, invert this card. When it enters the field, put 2+1/+1 counters on each resonator you control. Now, I really like this maybe a little bit later in the game when you've bolted up board presence. It kind of lets you push in and trade more efficiently. If you've been dropping stuff, having it on curve isn't too great because you're just gonna get one resonator that gets a +2/+2. So This is just really better later in the game, where maybe you have a stalled board state and you want to, start trading or get, be able to attack in without trading, and losing your guys. So Dark Castle is still good. When this card enters, put 4 -1/-1 counters on each resonator your opponent controls. Now I'm a big fan of board wipe in limited, and this is like some pretty soft board wipe, but it's still really good. And the counters stay, so everything gets -4/-4. Like, that's a giant swing, because you just got +2/+2 permanently, and they just got -4/-4 permanently. Like, you're gonna, any stalled board state is instantly swings in your favor, and that's a game winner right there. Next we have Magic Transformed Warrior. Yeah, he's okay. He's pretty good. He's a good bomb. His mobilizes banish a gem, so you have to be playing the light ruler or other gem generation stuff. Whenever this card attacks, for each different attribute of the gem banished, to play this card's mobilize cost during the battle, this card gains the following until end of turn. White is +0/+5, I think. I don't know, it's really hard to read this. Red is Pierce, which is good. Blue is Flying, which is really good. Green is First Strike, and black is +5/+0. So it's definitely +0/+5. It's a good card. It's a good bomb if you get it. I'd probably play it, but don't expect it to like win you the game. I mean, it can definitely. Just with the Pierce and the Flying, it can definitely do good stuff. But decent card. I really like this next card just because it does a lot of good stuff. It's a 3-drop Mephistopheles, 8/8. So already out the bat, I think it's greatly costed, and it's going to do a lot of work for you at a 3-cost 8/8. It's J-Res that your opponent controls enter the field rested. That's pretty important. It means you can ping stuff down on your turn. If you can attack into stuff that came into the field rested. It really screws with swiftness. That's just really, really, really deceptively strong. But its flip card, Mephistopheles, J resonators your opponent controls gain -2/-2. Resonators entering the field under your opponent's control don't cause their own abilities to trigger. Now, I don't think there's a ton of really good enter abilities. There's some decent ones out there. Don't really remember too much, but just a -2/-2 lets you. It's just good. It lets their entire board. It makes their entire board squishier. Obviously, I talked about miscalculation and combat tricks. This is something you want to play if you get it. It's really, really, really solid removal, and removal is key in a limited format like this. You really, really want removal when you're playing a limited format like this. But next we have the Jewel Princess. Speaking of removal, when this card enters the field, destroy target rested resonator. Gain a gem of any attribute. So out of 1/1, she's kind of crappy, but I like it for the removal, so I'd play it for that if you got it. Ancient Impact is a pretty bomb card. It'll hopefully, if you get to 8 mana, it'll close out the game for you. Hopefully, but we have Apprentice Martial Artist. I really like this card. I like all of the red cards. They're really, really good. So this one is 2-drop 7/7. When this card enters the field, remove 3 strength counters from your J ruler. If you don't, this card enters the field rested. So this can be a big deal, but it might not be. It has red. This card gains +1/+0 until end of turn. That's really good. By the way, a 7/7 2-cost is also really, really good. Like, that's greatly costed. It's going to trade with any other 2-cost your opponent has efficiently, and it can buff itself when it attacks in. So he's a good aggro 2-drop, and that's what a lot of this red stuff is really good aggro. Next we have Dino Rider. This guy is a bomb and a half. He's a 6-drop, so a little expensive, but he's a 14/14. When he enters the field, it deals 600 damage to each other resonator. So he's board wipe. He's a huge body. Whenever a resonator dealt damage by this card this turn is put into a graveyard from the field, this card gains swiftness until end of turn. So when he drops in, he board wipes and then he attacks in with swiftness, and that's like a huge power play. Definitely Dino Rider is a really good bomb. I would play the crap out of him, especially because 6 mana is not a lot in limited. In limited, you're going to have a slower format, and so some of these higher costed things that you maybe think, oh, I might not be able to play this, you're definitely going to be able to play them. It'll just depend on when. So speaking of Domesticated Dragon, he's a 5 cost, 10/12 flyer. Like, holy crap, that's so good. He has null. This card gains the following text as long as you have no cards in your hand. Red, this card gains +2/+0 until end of turn. This guy is a freaking beast. If you get him out and you start the top deck war, you just start swinging in, you just pump him for 5 mana, and he all of a sudden he's hitting for 2,000 damage. Oh, he's a good one. He's a bomb. Play that guy. This is why I think red is probably the best cards you can draft. It definitely has some of the best cards you can get in your pool. Speaking of which, Ferocious Attack. As an additional cost to play this card, remove X strength counters from your J ruler. Oh, I actually didn't have this. Never mind. I mistook it with Fictitious Fire, which is the good card. 2-drop, 600 damage, null, 800 damage. We went over it. It's really good. Good removal. Super good. Flying Dragon of Mount Hoel. This guy's a good card. He's a 4/7 2-drop. Like, with flying. Why? That's so good. Remove a strength counter from your J ruler. This card gains +5/+0 until end of turn. Plays ability only once per turn. That's so good. He's a 9/7 on your turn. Pretty much the whole game, because you're going to be playing the Pyale Ellie or whatever with 10 strength counters, and you're not going to care about this card like using up strength counters because it's so good. It's so good, guys. Gosh. The next like 6 cards I put stars next to because I just love them. They're so strong. Okay. Heaven Sundering Dragon Palm. It's one red mana. Choose one if this card's awakened. You may choose. We already went over this. It's basically a lightning strike, and if you awaken it, it's like a really good card. Okay, Home of the Ultra Dragon. This card is really interesting. And might require a little bit of finicking. I don't know if I would play it without knowing what my deck is and kind of building around it. But here's what it does. Whenever a resonator with total cost 2 or less enters the field, this card deals 600 damage to it. That almost deletes any resonators your opponent will play with that's 2 costs or less. Like, stuff that enters will just die. Now, your stuff, for example, look at, Flying Dragon of Mount Hoel and Apprentice Martial Artist. Both have 7 defense, so they will survive this. This is deceptively good. It's up to you whether or not to play it. I know Piggy, and I think Pyale Ellie probably dodge this also. So, you can play around it with your own cards. Mad Scarlocidon. This guy's a beast. He's a 3 mana 10/10. When this card enters the field, discard a card. That's fine. I will be willing to play that all day, every day. Null, Precision. That's just whatever. His variant is equally as good, but I just like that's a good bomb. He's super aggro. Discarding a card isn't that bad. I think it would be worth it. Martial arts competitor. I didn't have him on here, but he's an 8/8 with swiftness, so he's good. I'd play him. Next, we have Pyale Ellie, the Flaming Fist. I think she's probably she's one of the better cards, one of the best cards you can probably get. She's a 2-drop 5/5. When she enters the field, put 2 strength counters on your J ruler, and you can remove a strength counter from your J ruler. This card gains +2/+2 until end of turn. Plays ability up to 2 times per turn. So she can be a 9/9. She'll probably always be a 9/9 because you never not want to have she's just so good, so hard to remove. Her Awakening, 3 cost is just gravy. When this card enters the field, search your deck for a card named Piggy, Hoel's Great Hero Pig, and put it in the field. Then shuffle your deck. So she's great. She's absolutely baller. She's gonna win you a bunch of trades. She's gonna be super hard to remove. She can, if you're playing Home of the Ultra Dragon, I believe you can drop her in response to the effect going off. you can remove your strength counter to give her +2/+2, and she'll live for this 600 damage. So, really good. Piggy, who else? Great Hero Pig, equally good. 2 cost, 5/7. When this card enters the field, put 2 strength counters on your J ruler. Remove 2 strength counters from your J ruler. Target Resonator gains swiftness until end of turn, and remove 2 strength counters from your J ruler. Target Resonator gains flying until end of turn. This guy's super strong. Like, you basically drop him in. Like, you want to just be dumping your strength counters into these guys that buff themselves because they're so good. Like, this guy comes in, 2 cost, swiftness, flying, bam. Next turn, bam, give something else flying, give something else swiftness. Like, oh, he's so good. He's so good. Piggy's really good. Piggy's Child, and I skipped him. Scarlet's Vision. Now, if you can get the null to go off, this is super good. I talked about it before. It's removal. It's probably really good removal, and it's a beast. It's like, watch out for that top deck. See, another thing, when you play limited, there's different. I kind of went over this in my previous video, but you need to think about what a card does at each step of the game. So, and there's a couple different ways to judge cards in limited formats. So one of those ways is, what does it do when I'm behind? What does it do when I'm at parity, or when, you know, I'm stalled out? And what does it do when I'm ahead? So this card, what does it do when I'm ahead? It gets me further ahead, gets me in for more damage, and is just solid. What does it do when it's a stalled board state? It possibly wipes the opponent's field and lets me push in for damage. And again, if you wipe the opponent's field, it stops that stall and introduces, you know, basically might win you the game. What does it do when I'm behind? Again, if you can have, you know, any Resonator out there that you can buff up and deal damage to their entire board, like, that's insane. So this is definitely a bomb and a half, and I would play the crap out of it. Twin Dragon Claw, 4 cost. As an additional cost to play this card, removes X strength counters from your J ruler. This card deals X 100 damage to up to 2 target Resonators. So I think this is really good removal. It hits 2 things, and you can remove a bunch of strength counters to kill them, or not a lot if you don't need that many. But really strong. Now we're getting into this is a combo card, but it's super good. So, Ultra Dragon Flame Sphere. Obviously, as you play this card, you may rest a card named Ultra Dragon Shooting Star recovered you control. If you do, you may pay 3 and 2 red less to play this card, making it free. This card deals 1,000 damage to each J/Resonator. Now, it does kill your own Ultra Dragon, but I mean, 1,000 damage, it board wipes, it's good. Even at 5 mana playing this card, I would play it. If I had to pay 5 mana to board wipe, I would play the crap out of that card. Still, that's just me though. Next we have probably the best card in the entire set in limited, and maybe even not in limited. It's Ultra Dragon Shooting Star. He's a 3-drop, 10/10 flying dragon with blue-black barrier. With whenever a Resonator enters a field under your opponent's control without being played from your opponent's hand, this card deals 2,000 damage to it. If they want to cheat something in, it dies. When this card is put into a graveyard from the field, discard a card at random. Yeah, that sucks, but he's not going to die often. He's so good. Like, he is the most aggro card. He's gets protected from a bunch of stuff. He's a beast. If you get him, he will probably, and you draw him, he will probably carry you every single game you play him in, because there's not a lot of stuff that can stop that. There is, but, you know, he's just he's so good. I gave Beery Ball on this list. Yeah, I mean, it's, I'd probably take it off, actually. Yeah, no, I wouldn't play this. I wouldn't play Beery Ball. So the thing about blue, as we get into more of these blue cards, I'm going to skip a lot because there's so many that are dependent on Thunderstorm to be good, and you can't play Shayla unless you pull her. And there's Thunderstorm is too inconsistent in like sealed. So in my opinion, I would not play a lot of the blue cards if you have better cards to play. If you don't, you know, play it. Or if you have something like Giga Thunderfish, because Giga Thunderfish is a 5-cost 12/12. Whenever this card attacks, it deals 200 damage to each J Resonator your opponent controls. Whenever this card deals damage to a J Resonator, rest that J Resonator. It doesn't recover during the recovery phase as long as this card is in the field. So he drops down. You need to wait a turn unless you give it swiftness, but whatever. It drops down. Next turn, it attacks. It rests everything your opponent controls, and they don't get unrested unless you kill this. And in like 2-3 turns, if he sticks, he wins you the game. He's literally an auto win. This is probably the strongest card in the set. I know I said Ultra Dragon was the strongest card, but Ultra Dragon can win you the game. This card does win you the game. Obviously, if both of them are killed, it's whatever. But this card will win you the game if it sticks. Its last effect doesn't matter. You can't get Mega Thunderfish, and you can't get Thunderfish, so don't worry about that. Next, we have Rebellious Soul IU. I just think this is solid because, like, it's a 2-drop. You can steal something. It has flying, that's great, and it can become a J Ruler. Like, that's super solid. It kind of punishes your opponent. They don't want to flip, because all of a sudden, if they flip, now you get to become a 10/10. Yeah, he's good. Thunderwave. I kind of went over Thunderwave. Oh, it's kind of out here, isn't it? Yeah, there it is. I like bouncing. I like removal. This is a good one. You know, if you can remove for example, you can remove a Giga Thunderfish, and all of a sudden you guys get to untap, and then your opponent has to play it again at 5 mana, which then you lose the next turn. But still good. Thunderstorm, great card. I talked about it earlier. What does it do when you're ahead? It wins you the game. What does it do when you're at parity? If you have a stalled board state, it clears the board, and again might win you the game. What does it do when you're behind? It gives you breathing room, lets you clear out your opponent's field, and they have to replay each Resonator. With Thunderstorm, it's amazing. Without it, it's still super solid, and I'd play it. But that's pretty much it for blue. Like I said, some of the cards are great for Thunderstorm, but I didn't include them into this. You're going to have to look through your pool and decide if you have the cards you want or need to play a Thunderstorm deck. I can't really advise you too much on that. But Approaching the Truth, we're getting into green now. It's a 1-drop quick cast. It's good. Look at the top 2 cards of your deck and put any number of them on the top of your deck in any order. Put the rest on the bottom of your deck in any order. Draw a card. So it's a cantrip. It fixes your deck. In limited, you want to look through as many cards as you can to get, you know, Giga Thunderfish or whatever super strong card you want to get to. But this is just solid, super duper solid, really good card. Enormous Effigy. Its variant is better, but honestly, it's a decent 5-drop, 13/13. When a Resonator deals damage to this card, destroy that Resonator. Like, so if it attacks anything, it kills it. You know, if it wouldn't have been before, and if anything attacks it, it dies. So, like, I don't know. It's really good. It's good. It's a good one. So the other thing about green is that they have a couple of cards with Legend. Legend is a keyword related to Shahrazad. I call her Charizard. So Charizard has the ability to flip over your extra deck and do stuff with the extra deck. And there's green cards that are supported by that. But in sealed, it doesn't really matter because you probably won't get Charizard. So don't play them. That's pretty much it. I just like Intervention of Reality, probably pretty good. Doesn't matter though, you can't cast the Legend stuff. It could honestly just be a dead card because it only does stuff if you have Legend stuff. So yeah, I put Last Days of a Powerless Dragonoid in here. First of all, for the cancel, target fire chant spell. Fire is going to be pretty strong in this limited format. Like this set, I think fire is the strongest color you can pick. So you can sideboard this card, but you can also remove all counters. So if your opponent is, you know, is doing strength counters, you can cancel that. There's definitely J rulers that, you know, play around with that. So it's a good one. We have Lorite, 7 Luminaries, Astrologian. Astrologian. I think that's Astrologian. Astrologian. Yeah, let's go with that. 1-drop, 1/2. When it enters a field, cancel target activate or automatic ability your opponent controls. That's pretty much it. He's a good one. He stops abilities, any abilities, pretty much. Lorite's deletion magic and Lorite's wind. I went over these before. They're really strong cancels. I would definitely play them. Pretty solid. Oh, this is a good one. This is an interesting one. Null Page. It's 3 green. When this card enters the field, remove target resonator from the game. So obviously, right off the bat, I think it's great removal. As long as there is a card in any removed area that is removed by this card, your opponent cannot play cards that share a name with that card. Not that that's going to matter too much or come into play a lot, but it's a 3-drop removal, like remove from the game. Hey, that can stop Giga Thunderfish and, you know, a lot of other stuff. So super duper solid. Rachel, 3-drop, 7/7. She's super solid. When this card enters the field, look at the top 3 cards of target player's deck, put any number of them in their owner's graveyard, and the rest on top of their owner's deck in any order. So again, you have 20 cards. You get to look at 3. That's a decent amount of your deck, and she gets to fix whatever you want to draw next. Ooh, really good. When she leaves the field, search your deck for a card and put it into your hand, and then shuffle your deck. Like, she's batshit insane in the regular, you know, in a normal game, and in limited, she's super strong too. Like, that effect is strong either way. Scarlet's Agony, quick cast, remove target attacking J resonator from battle, draw a card. It's a cantrip, and it stops something from attacking you. Really good. But now we're gonna get into some black. Speaking of black, there's the next card is Black Star Blazer Thieves Gang Leader. He's a 3-drop, 7/8. He's pretty big. Whenever this card deals damage to your opponent, they discard a card at random. That's a super good effect. Banish a light gem. This card gains flying until end of turn. Banish a fire gem. This card gains swiftness until end of turn. So with a decent amount of gems shenanigans, you can easily run away with a game with this guy. Like, you drop him turn 3, and he gets in, and he hits in 1 time. Like, already you're up on cards. You know, the next time you just start controlling their hand, it's brutal. It gets absolutely brutal. Next, Black Tears. Destroy a resonator with total cost 1 or less. Kind of wonky, but I like it. It's decent removal, and I'd probably play it. Ooh, Blackwing Dinosaur. 2 black mana, 8/6, flying. This card gains -1/0 for each card in your hand. This is solid. Like, at a 5/6 flyer, I think it's still a good cost, and that's like with what, 3 cards in your hand? Yeah, so I don't know. It's a little wonky, but I think he's super solid. So, oh boy, we're getting there. We're getting there, guys. Dark Impact. 4 cost, destroy target resonator. You may put a dinosaur from your hand into the field. Now, if you can combo it, oh gosh, this is insane. If you can't, it's still a 4 cost removal, and I think that's a decent cost for it. Dark Riding Hood, Messenger of Truth. 2-drop, 6/6. Remove a mystery counter from your J ruler. Invert this card. She becomes Red Riding Hood, Recovered Hope. 8/8. Red-black barrier. Like, that's pretty decent. The thing I like about her is that in like a butler ruler, you can drop her turn 2 and have her be an 8/8 the same turn. So really good. Embrace of Darkness. This is the destroy target resonator with total cost 3 or less. It's removal. It's 2 mana. What else is there to say? Super good. Play it. It's really good. Final words. 5 mana is a little expensive for removal. I'm not gonna lie, but it does kill J rulers, and that's why I would put it in. So, Grim of the Crimson Moon. This guy's pretty solid. 3 cost, 7/7. White black barrier flying. When this card enters the field, reveal any number of Fairy Tale Resonators from your hand. I don't know if there are any. Honestly, I wasn't really looking a lot. There's probably a decent amount though. So put a +1/+1 counter on this card for each card revealed this way. Whenever this card attacks, put 2 mystery counters on your J ruler. That's pretty solid. And whenever you do judgment of a ruler, you may remove 2 mystery counters from your J ruler if you do invert this card. So Grim, Hope from the Future. He's a 10/10, flying barrier, black/white, just like regular. The other side. When this card inverts, target non-Magic Stone entity loses Imperishable, and this card cannot be destroyed until end of turn. Then destroy that entity. So he can stop J Resonators, or J Rulers also. He can kill J Resonators, he can kill pretty much anything except for Magic Stones. Cards in your opponent's graveyard lose all abilities. Pretty solid. Really good card. It needs a little, you need to play around it though. Well, not really, because if you get one attack off, then he still triggers himself, huh? So, good card though. Look at Despair. 3 costs, your opponent discards 2 cards. Null, your opponent discards 3 cards instead. So obviously the null ability is super solid, but I think just regularly discarding cards in limited is good. It's a good look. Gets you up on that all of that, card advantage. But Lurker in the Null, I think this guy's really interesting. He's a 1-drop 1/1, right? When this card deals damage to a Resonator, destroy that Resonator. So like already I think that's great. Like he stalls out, he can stall out your board state. He can remove stuff, and his null ability is 2. Put this card from your graveyard into your hand, so you can recur him. Late game, this guy could just be freaking super annoying, like basically be like almost an infinite blocker, remove a lot of stuff. Really interesting guy. I like him. I like him a lot. Did I leave out Soul Concentration? I think Soul Concentration is pretty solid. I'd probably play it, but let's skip to Thought Control. 1 cost, chant, your opponent reveals their hand, choose a card with total cost 3 or less, they discard that card. This is like Thoughtseize in Magic. Like you scout out their hand, you get to take something out that's going to hurt you early game. It's just amazing. Really good. Super strong card. Voidosaurus, 6-drop, 14/14. Null, you pay 4 colorless less to play this card, making it a 2-drop, 14/14. You're often maybe not going to get to play that, but I think it's worth it to have him in your deck. Because if you top deck him, he's strong. If you dump your cards really fast, he's really strong. He's good. These next three cards are basically like a cycle, and they're all baller. Null Darkness, red black, destroy target Resonator, destroy up to 1 target J Ruler. Just nothing more to say about it. Amazing card. Ruin Story, 2-drop black green. Choose 1, your opponent banishes a Resonator. Like, that's good. Or flip over 2 revealed stories in your extra deck. You can't play that. You won't be able to do that unless you have Charizard. But or put target Resonator from your graveyard into your hand. Or cancel target spell unless your opponent pays 1. Really good. So just your opponent banishes a Resonator is good. Cancel is good. Super solid. Twin Blades of Hope and Despair. I kind of went over this. Pretty much the best combat trick in the game. Buffs you, may possibly kill something or trades efficiently. So good. And its flip side, Sword of Fate, 4 cost. Choose 1. Destroy target J/Resonator, so it hits J Rulers again, or put target Resonator with total cost 5 or less from your graveyard into the field. So it plays something from your field, 5 or less. Really good. This card is probably like one of the best chances you can play easily. It has so much value attached to it. It's so good. It's so good. So good in limited. Everything else is just stones. Yeah. But that's pretty much it for my best cards that you should play if you get them. It's an interesting format. I think red is overall the strongest. If you get any J Ruler, you should probably play them. Although I don't think you should maybe play Imul, because it's hard to get her to her proper power level with the inverted cards. You have to play an inverted deck. So yeah, but I hope you guys have fun going into your sealed, your sealed games and your pre-release. Just stay frosty out there. Have fun. The point of sealed is to have fun. You want to draft your stupid thunderstorm deck and then watch as you don't draw your thunderstorm resonators and then rage quit because you had like the best thunderstorm like deck, but it just didn't do anything. Or just play red and Raffle Stomp with your battle arts and your Ultra Dragon and like drop Ultra Dragon turn 3 and just watch your opponent go, oh god, Ultra Dragon, how'd you have that in your pool? And then, oh man. And if you play Giga Thunderfish, like I would just play Giga Thunderfish because like it's such a cool card. And he's so good. Oh my god. Like playing him is gonna feel so good. But yeah. I think that's just about all, honestly. Aim for some red stuff. There's some really good aggro stuff in this set that you can draft together, and that's about it for my advice. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this pre-release primer video. The last two I've done have gone on for ages and ages, and this one is looking like we're at 51 minutes. Amazing. Okay, 51 minutes worth of me talking at you. So hope you guys enjoyed that. Hope you guys enjoyed that a lot, because I'm gonna enjoy editing this together. Yeah, stay frosty, watch out for those removals, go get some good pool cards and pull your favorite J ruler in your packs, because it's what it's all about. See you guys. I'll see you out there.